Good morning and welcome to another edition of Roadhouse Live. We are live. Today is November 22nd, 2023. That would be November. That would be the day before the Thanksgiving. I am thankful. Bender is thankful. Stonk is thankful. Somewhere, Sonny is thankful. The question is, if you're listening, are you thankful? Do you have thanks? Did you give and offer thanks? Well, if you haven't, there's still time. And all day tomorrow to offer thanks and gratitude for the life that you get to live. Wonderful, wonderful thing. Bender, we had data this morning that was about what you would expect. You know, durable good orders came in light. Employment came in well. I think well is the right word. You can't really say anything negative about it. Yesterday, we had our little Dopey McDougal grind down dip and refuse to rip. Today, we have a grind up that is continuing just to grind. There was a head and shoulders on the 30-minute that is said to be invalidated based on the technical definition of such. And we are right back in a position to retake the highs that we had earlier this week. What say you, Bender? What say you?
Well, as you know, I went shopping yesterday.
Yes.
Which was not a great experience. I didn't come home with anything, and I blame the salesperson.
Huh.
They were awful. So let me ask you this, real quick story. If you are a salesperson, and this goes out to anybody that might be listening that's in sales. If you're a salesperson at an RV place or a car dealership or whatever it is, and somebody calls you and says, hey, I see this on your website. I want to make sure it's available. I'm really interested in it. You're 3 hours away. Can you go take a look at it and see what kind of condition it is? And if it's ready to go, if so, and you have it, I'll make the drive. So he calls me back. He goes and looks. He calls me back. He said, yeah, I walked it. It looks great. It's in perfect condition. There's nothing wrong with it. Why don't you come on down? And I said, okay. He's like, what's your timeline to buy? And I said, I'm bringing my checkbook. I'm paying cash. And if we make, if it's in the condition you say it is, I plan on leaving with it. That's what I told him, right? And I said, you have 2 or 3 other units on the lot that could also work that I'm interested in. Now that you know what I'm looking for, if there's anything else that you want to show me while I'm there, let's go look at them. He's like, okay. So we make the drive 3 hours. We get in the golf cart with the guy. He's not even sure where on the lot it is. And he shows it to me once we do find it. The slides aren't out. It hasn't been cleaned, wiped down, nothing. It doesn't look like they've done anything to it.
I can stop you right here with the story. You can keep on going if you want, but if you ask me a question, I want to answer the question. And the number one job of a salesperson, you can't make a sale unless you have the person on the lot. So you say whatever it takes to get the person on the lot. They did what they were supposed to do to get you on the lot.
And because they didn't do those other things, I walked away.
Right. But it's like the sound of it is it's you're looking to make a desperate transaction, which means if I get you here, you're going to walk away with something. Okay. That's if you're that type of a salesperson. Okay. There's different types of salespeople. There's a turn and burn, which is what he was. Turn and burn. We'll just get him here, get him something and get him off the lot, Merry Thanksgiving. But their job is to get you on the lot. After that, all bets are off.
I already said I was going to be on the lot. I said I was bringing a checkbook and I was ready to buy something. This isn't like, hey, I'm going to go look around. No, I'm driving 3 hours. You could at least wipe the counters off.
You got sucked in.
Well, no, he lost a sale is what happened. I mean, I flat out told him, like, he didn't have a list of anything else. He didn't know where anything else was. He hadn't taken 15 minutes. He's like, well, let's go to my office and we'll pull up the website and we'll look through them. I'm like, no, you were supposed to already do that.
Yeah, no,
that's why I called you.
Just get you on the lot. And after that, they feel like they can.
They're not doing enough volume right now that they can operate that way. They're not selling enough that they can operate that way. He was acting like this is still, 2021 when they're just selling them like crazy because people are, that's not how this works right now. Okay. Anyway,
but then
Yeah. So the guy, I mean, ultimately I walked away and I said, hey, let me offer a little bit of constructive criticism. You could have sold me something today if it was ready to go. He's like, oh, well, we need at least 24 hours. I'm like, okay, you could have told me that. I wouldn't have made the drive. You could have saved me 6 hours, right? I could have come next week or later or something. But anyway, okay, let's look at these charts.
Yeah, and while you're pulling up the charts, so NVIDIA ER was really interesting. They beat and guided along, even pointing out China numbers coming out, still being able to post 11% growth. It's like unbelievable NVIDIA over there. We can PE all day if we want, but that ship is something else. Something else.
All right.
Like something else.
I want to get into that a little bit more later, not in the show, but I do want to hear a little bit more because I haven't even looked at it yet. So, and I am interested. I just I haven't had a chance to look at it yet. So here is a 60-minute on the ES. This was kind of that area that we were talking about yesterday. You had those two trend lines that converge. Unfortunately, it looks like they didn't give it until 4 o'clock Eastern, so right at the close, something like that. Right down into where those trend lines converge. That's where it bounced, came back down, tested this trend line again, and thus far, that is what has held. That's what's holding right now. So if we kind of extend that out, ooh, where did that go? There we go. Kind of extend that out. So we keep track on that because when they do finally break this trend line, then we might get a little continuation to the downside to take out some of these levels. Right in here, 45, 75. Go to a 15-minute. You can see that being where a lot of stops would be sitting. 41, 45, 75, currently sitting 45, 66. There isn't a whole lot else. You know, if you're looking at the 15-minute, there's really not a whole lot else in here. I don't see any fair value gaps left open or anything like that. You got a little bit of room maybe in here, this 45.60, 45.58 area. But outside of that, on the way up, pretty much everything's filled in, right? So this blue line was at 41 or 45.66. We're now above that, taking out these highs right in here into the top of this 15-minute fair value gap, 45.67.25. Right. So next, what do we got? 45.70, 70, 45.70, 75. And if we zoom out a little bit, let's go 4 hour. Well, above that, if this holds 45.66, we can hold above that. Take this 45.71.25 area. You can see, okay, 45.80 and then 4,600. 45.96, but call it 4,600. And then we have all this old stuff hanging out here, that high from August 4th, and then the gap, that regular trading hours gap from the 2nd. That's kind of where we're at. It's like when you get up in here into these areas, it's like, how far are they going to take this? How far are they going to let it run? Any one of these, you know, there's a lot of stuff in here, in my opinion. There's a lot of stuff in here that they kind of pick and go, oh, okay, well, we filled this right in here. So now we'll turn it around. I think it gets challenging up in here. The move, the direction thus far, still up until it's not, right? Until we get some sort of shift, market structure shift, change in direction. Right now, that would look like below 45.37, at least on a 60-minute, would give you that. If it got below this area, 45.36, 37 right in there, then you could start to see some of these levels below get attacked. But for now, direction's still up. So I'm going to see what it does. If it can take 45.71, kind of see what kind of reaction we get. You know, if it holds above 45.60 or so, 45.65, if it can hold above that, then it may be headed towards 45.80 and ultimately 4600. If it takes this and then gives that, you know, couple ticks, quick rejection, and we find ourselves below this trend line, then you might be able to get some points, look to position short, looking for 45 half. I think we talked about earlier or late last week, you know, Almanac typically, I think, says buy weakness going into Thanksgiving and sell the strength, which it says, I believe it says the day before Thanksgiving. Like typically you're not holding through. So we'll see what they do with it later in the day. That's about all I got.
Nice. All right. I'll jump in. Let's see what we got. We get some news on deck, and we can go through that real quick, and then we'll do some charting. Let's see here. I'll throw up the SPY just as we get this going here. Let's see. We've been talking about the OpenAI, Sam Altman back. The Goldman Sachs expects China stocks to make their first yearly gain in 4 years next year, 2024, based on accommodative policy that will pause deleveraging. Tesla says he and Elon will talk about some partnering with their AI. Let's see. GES down on bad ER, Autodesk down, Urban down, Hewlett Packard down. Let's see. Deere taking a hit as well, and Cat is down in sympathy. Dell's down in sympathy with HPQ. Autodesk also downgraded. Anything else interesting over here? I think that's about it. Any other interesting upgrade, downgrade? Someone's setting a price target of 700 on NVIDIA. That's like pre-split type stuff. DX price target upgraded. AMAT upgraded to a buy, and a bunch of other. Let's see. Space downgraded with that Virgin Galactic. Let's see. Anything else? LRCX upgraded. That had flow this week. Worth taking a look if you'd like to trade that one. GoDaddy upgraded to outperform, and a bunch of other upgrades on stuff that I can't imagine we care too much about. So let's get into the charts here. So we had a tight range day yesterday. No new smash days on deck. We've got the alert still set on the break of the low from the 20th, but we're kind of already would have hit the stop level, which would have been, you know, if it did hit as a short, we'd be looking at this high, and it looks like we're up there now. So we'll see what we get. The IWM did hit the alert. But so basically we got the alert when we broke this low yesterday, and it gave a nice short over there. And, you know, if Larry was still in, his stop would be up here on the high from the 20th. And we're almost there, 179.65. So if you took off a piece on the sell and then was still in, you'd be stopping out on the rest up at 179.65 on the IWM. So if we jump over to the charts with all the markup here, we can do the NQ first. Check this one out. Let's see. All right. Is this right? No, this is not where I have everything. There we go. All right. So we're in this 4-hour gap here that left the gap on the way up and the sell. And we're up against the top of it, this level right here. This is what, 16.071. So, and we do seem to be pausing for the moment. So I'm going to kind of see what we get, because this could continue to be an important area, with the bottom of the gap being down here at the 16005 area. So that this is kind of going to be what I'll be watching. We also, if we were needing to do some seeking and destroying, we've got bulls break even stops below, and then we've got bear above. So we've got, you know, two options to go cause max pain. And if we zoom out here, you know, this high, it's like they stopped out, but, you know, I'm sure there'll still be stops sitting up there for whoever's left up at that 16120 area. So just going to kind of see what we get. You know, we've got two areas where they could potentially stop some people out. And then I've still got this. This was kind of our torture box of last week. And we've got a double bottom there as well, that with still open stops. So just going to kind of see what we got. In terms of flow, we noted there was some bearish bets on SPX out to January. But other than that, just, you know, very short term seems still bullish. We're going to look at Microsoft here in a minute. There's still big bull on Microsoft. So we'll see what we get. The Russell is an interesting setup coming into the day. We've got this triangle going, and we're inside this torture box was the Russell.
Sorry, Song, don't mean to interrupt you, but I got to run. I'll be back in about 30, 45 minutes.
All right, you do your thing. We'll be here. So here's the Rusty. We've got this wedge going on, and we've got, this was kind of the low where I marked this up because this was this fair value gap here on the hourly, basically down to this low, and they left it open just by a few ticks there, and then we're coming up to this this was the previous resistance through this torture box. So coming up to the top, basically going to see we could get a nice move when we do eventually pop this wedge, and then you can see the bears break even stops are all, they never, you know, took this yesterday. So this is all kind of still intact on this big wedge. And then if we zoom out further to the daily, we've got big daily fair value gap below. If we start cooking to the downside, we've got a target down here at 17.4, and then I've got fibs on this candle here, potential bullish order block, a bull who wanted to get in cheaper, where we would keep an eye on this 1706 area. And then similarly above, we've got, if this was to be a bearish order block, fibs on this one, and be watching the 0.5 fib on that one, 1873.7. So interesting setup. The Rusty's nice and kind of coiled for a move, potentially kind of like a bull pennant up here, because it's a consolidation after a move up. So we'll see what we get. And then let's take a look at Microsoft. So let's see. Yeah, so Microsoft is kind of playing the battle of the dark pools. It's got this, it's funky. It looks like it changed my trend line here. I have this one kind of more like this. There we go. All right, so yeah, we had this dark pool from yesterday, 377.44, operating above. So we want to see that hold. If we lose it, this will probably be kind of like the next area, 374.9. See what we get on that one. And then below, we've got 369.67. Above, we've got, we've kind of talked about the other day through fib projections off this previous range, which gave us some potential targets to the upside. And interesting how it's like, you know, using that range, we stalled new all-time high just below what would have been the first fib projection to the upside, 380.3. So that, if we continue to hold this dark pool, I'm going to see what we do at 380.3, and the next would be up there, 388.65 on Microsoft. Other than that, we can drop the dark pools in the room. I've got some levels on Meta I'll be calling. And I think that's kind of about it.
All right. Awesome. So what are you buying?
Yeah, right. I mean, I think I'm going to really be looking at that Russell flag.
Yeah.
I kind of like that over there. You can watch the IWM. But
and
yeah.
you mentioned, did you mention the SPY gap?
Did not get into it too much there, but yeah, let's check it out.
Just to remind everyone where that gap is at, still sitting up in there. When you look at it, I think I had it pulled up. Let's see, which chart was that? So I show that gap as, if you look at a 60-minute, looks like 456.15. I obviously doesn't look the same on the daily, but if you're looking at it on a 60-minute, switch to your regular trading hours.
There we go. Yeah. Yep. Right up into there. Nice.
So be mindful of that. We haven't quite closed that gap, right? We're currently sitting 454.98. So be aware that a lot of times, doesn't mean it'll stop it, but a lot of times, once you get gap fill like that, kind of expect that or anticipate that there may be some fools out there that are staring at that going, okay, gap's closed, time to sell. So
almost probably got an algo doing that. Yeah.
Yeah. Be aware. Obviously we have a gap up, this morning. So gotta keep that in mind as well. I think would be close 453.26. Yeah. So, all right. I don't think I have anything else. And HellsBells is gone. So with that, we're going to wrap it up. Don't screw up your holiday. Be smart. All that fun stuff. Enjoy your Thanksgiving. And we'll be back at it, I suppose, Friday.
Good times. See you guys.
All right. See you.